Hello, little buddy. Good afternoon and welcome to the Kerry Garden Show. Alan Finn here with you at Boyles of Killorglin with my little friend here and lots of colour. If you're looking to have more of these and lots more of these in your garden, well, you're in the right place because Trish is going to be talking to us about summer bedding plants. Let's go find her. So we're here in Boyles of Killorglin, of course, and we've got lots of bedding plants and we've got our bedding expert with us. Trish, how are we doing this week?
Very good, thank you, Ellen.
Now, it's not quite the heat wave here when we're recording this. I know it's going to be a lovely weekend.
I'm looking forward to the weekend.
I'm looking
21
forward to
degrees.
it too, absolutely. So there'll be lots of great weather and you've got lots of bedding plants here and that's what we're going to talk about this week. So let's get...
like that now, people have been going on. Is it time to plant bedding plants? Has the frost gone? I know up to now for the last week, I suppose, it's been wet, it's been windy.
Yeah.
But looking at the weather now myself, I'm not no weather expert, but obviously this weekend is nice and sunny and next week is as well. So I'd say now's the time, get out and plant your bedding plants because you want to get them into the ground, get them rooted so that you'll get a full benefit of them over the whole summer.
So the frost and the weather was really a huge thing, so it's just holding off until it gets that nice mild.
Yeah.
So, and it's even, you've said it before, where it actually might be nice mild days, but the ground was not actually quite ready for it.
Exactly.
So we're at that stage now. The ground, they're perfect for rooting for all the bedding plants, so lots of people eager to get out.
They are, and like that, a lot of people think, oh, I should have done it a month ago, but I actually think it's even the same with planting your veg and stuff like that. Don't start too early. Everybody sells them too early. We're victims of that as well.
Yeah.
But it's just you really have to watch the weather. So out you get now if you want to plant your beds. Now is the time.
Yeah, here we go. Crack the whip there.
So a lot of people then, they have flower beds that they just plant bedding plants in it every year.
And these
right?
will be they would just flower for one season.
That's it. They'll flower right up until about October. So you get a great blast of colour from them. So what do? If you've got a bed that you've used last year, you've done absolutely nothing with it, you want to take off the weeds. So you get your fork and you fork it through, break out any lumps in the soil and remove any weeds. And once that's clear then, give it a nice little rake and you could put down some slow release fertilizer. Okay. Now what this is, it's an extra feed. I'd always feed with the Miracle Grow tomato feed as well, but this one is an all-purpose slow release fertilizer. So what that does, it releases nutrients into the soil for the next 6 months. So what I do with that then is just scatter out a couple of handfuls. The directions are on the back of it as to how much you would put out to an area. But scatter out a few handfuls into the ground. Get some compost then as well. We've got a John Innes compost, which is a multi-purpose compost.
Okay.
And you could fork that in. Now when I'm saying forking it in, you don't fork it in too deep. You want the compost where the roots of the plants, the bedding plants, will hit it. So you're talking about 2 inches.
Okay, so we're not going too deep into the soil.
No.
We're loosening everything up. We're pulling out any bit of kind of root system that you might see there, because some of them might not have even come up yet.
Well, see, that's it.
Pull them all out,
and
then while the soil is loose, throw out your compost, throw out your slow
fertilizer,
release, and then are we talking about maybe kind of patting it down, or what would you do
give
afterwards?
it a good rake anyway, and also as well, if there's big stones, if there's small stones, don't worry about it, right? So take any large. Exactly. Now you said it, and just give it a rake so that the whole bed is level.
Okay.
Now, if it's very dry and you think the soil is very dry, I'd actually water the soil first.
So this is beforehand.
Beforehand, right? And then you get your bedding plants. So you come into the garden centre.
Right, and they're bursting with colour. We have them here behind us. There's beautiful marigolds here.
Yeah,
there's begonias
and everything. We've trolleys and trolleys now of bedding plants. They're the main thing in the garden centre at the moment, so there's a great selection.
And it's nearly ready-made colour,
well, see, that's it. Yeah, that's the thing about bedding plants. It's the good blast of colour that you won't get from a shrub, and it's the bedding plants that will give it this time of the year. So you need to measure your bed then before you come into the garden centre. So we can actually help you then plan out your
So obviously what
bed.
a common mistake people make then is they buy too much, they cram it all together, and they don't even give the plants enough space.
Because if you see, for example, right, that's one plant. It's a small little plant, and as you say,
what is it?
That's actually a Sweet William.
So
they're fabulous. Lovely little dianthus. Again, now you're back to like the carnations, but this is the summer flowering bedding plant.
Okay.
And they're pinks, they're reds, they're whites, and there's a slight
ruby
scent
colours
off that then as well. So it's nice and smelly. But if you have that, right, say if you have that one there and I take out another one and you're planting it, you think, God, they're so small, I'll plant them in close to each other. But you don't, because you have to remember they are going to grow, right? So the recommendation for bedding plants for most of them is about 6 inches, 6 to 9 inches apart. So you're talking about this far apart.
Right, so anyone who's on Facebook now, you'll be able to see the distance between myself and Trish's 2 plants here that we're holding. So 6 inches there.
About 6 inches apart. Now you can see that one is lovely and well rooted, so you don't actually have to do anything with that. You don't tear out the roots or loosen it in any way. You dig your hole and put it at the same depth. Don't put it down too deep. So whatever depth is in the pot or the container you have, keep it at that depth as well.
So you're looking at about 3.5, 4 inches there of just going into it. And again, we're always talking about the mistakes, the common mistakes. That would obviously be one. Is it too deep?
Too deep.
And how about if it's up over
If it's
the
up
soil?
a little bit, it wouldn't be too bad. But the only thing is, if it's up a little bit and the roots come up, the roots are exposed then to the sunshine.
That'll
The perfect thing is to try and keep it level with the soil level, and that would be the best thing.
All right.
So as I say, measure out your bed and come in then and say, I've got whatever, 12 foot by 3 foot, and we will make out the colours for you if you wish, or you can tell us which colours you like and we can pick out the right plants.
So we'll be also wanting to mix them up as well too.
Yes.
So that's 2 6 inches between those two. But what are the ones we'll be talking about adding
if you had, say, 2 or 3 rows of a bed that you're planting, right? So the back row would have 6 inches. And then in between the second row, you're actually staggering it. So every space is actually going to be full of a plant and a flower when they eventually do grow or whatever. So I wouldn't go any further than 6 inches either, because then you've got an awful lot of space. And when you've got space, what will you have? Weeds. Of course. And the weeds will just keep on coming up. Now, at the start, all right, you will get small little weed seedlings coming up from your soil.
They're just the small little ones. You'll need to kind of go in there and just pluck up out of.
Or even what I do is even get a little hoe and you're in, because you don't want to get in too far into your plants because it's going to be awkward to walk in around it. So just get a hoe from the side, lightly loosen up the soil, and that'll get rid of the root of the weed then as well. So once you've planted them all, you need to water them in after planting then as well. And I'd actually give them a feed then after that as well.
So when we've put down the slow release fertilizer, we've got embedded in, but you're just saying that'll be for the long term.
That's for the long term.
So straight off the bat. So then will we be talking about a bit of our tomato food?
Well, what I'd actually start off with first would be the Miracle Grow.
So
the Miracle Grow, that brings on good flowering as well, but that actually strengthens up the plant as well. Now, because the plants are so small and the roots are only new, you need to build up the plant so that you'll actually have better plants for better flowering. Now, the ideal thing to do throughout the season is that every 2 weeks you'd feed them.
2 weeks,
right? So I'd feed them first with the Miracle Grow. The following 2 weeks then come with your tomato food.
So the tomato food probably isn't a great one to start off with,
no,
but the Miracle Grow just has that extra nutrients.
Exactly. But I'd actually alternate them then as you're going along the season.
Okay.
So maybe 2 or 3 times you might do tomato food, then you might go back to the Miracle Grow again as well, and it'll do no harm.
And that'll also make sure that they'll nearly last you a good couple of months really if you're going alternating.
Well, see, that's it. I mean, a lot of people that put down the bedding plants, they might give them a water, but they forget about feeding them. Because the bedding plants flower so intense for so many months in the year, they need to have good food.
They need the nutrients.
They need the nutrient to burst it on, and really let them come on. So they would be very important. Fostrogen is another one as well. There's a lot of feeds on the market, but always make sure to go with the recommendation on the back of it. Now, the other thing then with feed as well is to watch for the sun, right? You'd never feed when its sun is shining, because what happens then, if you're putting the feed on the leaf, it'll actually scorch it. If possible, try get the watering can, take off the rose head, and go with your watering can in around the base of the plants, so that you're actually not touching the foliage. Or else try and do it in the shade of the morning or in the evening time when the sun is gone.
And that could suit a lot of people as well too, because it's either one of those things you could do either before work or when you come home from work.
Exactly.
You know, that's the sort of thing you could time it, have your dinner, come home, and then head out and do it. Kind of thing,
And I suppose another thing then throughout the season is deadheading. It's very important to deadhead summer bedding plants.
And especially with the bedding plants, because as you said, right, there's colour here, but there's also other up and coming buds.
Huge amount. Like even if you say now the pansy there, for example, right? We've actually got one pansy it's not completely dead yet, but we'll just pretend it's dead.
Okay.
So what you actually do with that then is just to pinch it back right down to the bottom of it.
Okay.
Right? And as you say then, that encourages this little bud to come on, and it just clears the way for the new growth.
Gives them space and also takes away any nutrients that could be wasted.
No, you said it. And also as well, if that's left there, what happens then, it goes brown, decays, and then it decays into the new leaves, and you might get a black spot on it. So just tie them up, but don't throw it over your shoulder.
Okay, yeah, where will we dispose? What's best?
You can actually put that into the compost bin.
Compost bin.
Yeah, so I mean, they'll make lovely compost then, so that'd be nice. Now, the other thing then as well, when you're planting beds, you have to remember your aspect, whether it's sunny or whether it's shaded.
Yeah.
And again, like shrubs that we were talking about the last couple of weeks, there's certain bedding plants that like shade and ones that don't.
Okay, right.
So say if you've got a shady area, then your pansies would be very good.
Okay.
Busy Lizzie is another one as well, which is your impatiens. Now, they're lovely. They go nice and bushy. They're only about 4 to 5 inches high, and the bush out then about 8-9 inches wide. Come in all different colours.
Yeah.
They like a light. Now, when I say shade, it's light shade, because all of these plants, they won't really do in a dense shady area.
Okay, yeah.
They,
Well,
with the flowers
so if
that's
you're
on
looking,
them.
You're looking, you need, as you said, so as the sun is coming up across, as the day is going across, just keeping an eye on that patch to see how much sun is kind of getting.
Now you said it. Like, they would be two very good ones. Mimulus is another one as well.
Yeah, this is a really interesting one.
Now, that can do in a very dry area as well. So if you've got an old stone wall or a rockery, you can put them into it. They do actually self-seed around the place.
All right.
So just to be careful, if you didn't want them all over the area, if you see small little seedlings coming, just to pluck them out.
Okay.
And but they're very, very hardy, nasturtiums.
It's upright bedding. So that means that it's not going to go out.
It's not going trailing. It's going straight up. It goes up and it's bushy.
And there's lovely little colours. You've got an orange, a red,
they're fabulous colours.
Like a yellow and cream. It's beautiful.
No, they are fabulous. All right.
Lovely. Yeah.
Other ones then that we'd have for a sunny area then would be your petunias. They love the sun.
Now, the size of those flowers.
So they're huge.
They're huge.
Absolutely huge.
You know, it's absolutely massive, beautiful, deep purple colour.
They come in a very vivid pink as well. They come in reds, they come in whites, or you can get a tray that has mixed colours in it.
Okay.
But a lot of people, like, even when we're planting our beds as well, don't mix too many colours together.
You've always said this, you love the black colours, and it makes a huge difference.
Huge
you always
difference.
Say it,
Like, I mean, you could go your purple, you could go maybe your orange then with it as well. Do you know, the two of them are nice.
Gorgeous complements the
You
marigolds.
also have a little silver there as well. Like, not all bedding plants have flowers on them.
Okay, so tell us about this one.
This one is a cineraria is the name of it.
Okay.
It's a lovely silver leaf on it. That can actually last throughout the winter as well. Sometimes if you don't get a very hard frost, you'll keep on getting it. But that's lovely. Even if you were to put a couple of clumps here and there throughout your bed,
kind of break
so
up
a clump
the
of
colour.
silver here and a clump of silver, and then you have your purple and your orange, which would be lovely then as well.
Beautiful.
So they're nice. So it's not just all about the flower, the foliage is lovely as well.
Yeah. Then we have a lovely lobelia. Now this is more of a trailing.
That's more of a trailing. Now next week I'd say we'll probably be doing up a hanging basket in a window box, and we'll be using the trailing lobelia.
We'll be looking at the lobelias.
But it's just a lot of people now would be thinking about doing that, and we have loads of them in stock now as well.
Right.
Now, say if we're on the border of your bed, you always need something kind of low and moundy. Just, it's like a frame really,
of course,
around your bed. And this one, the alyssum, and this one, which is your lobelia.
Oh, I love the blue
They're
colour there.
absolutely fabulous.
Stunning. So now, the alyssum here is a beautiful white.
Yeah, and that actually has a lovely scent in it as well. It's kind of like a honey scent, and it's fabulous on a warm day. It's beautiful, like when you're passing by. Now, as I say, they're going to frame. So say, for example, the tray now is your bed. What you're doing then is you're framing around. If it's seen all around, you're going right around the whole square rectangle. Now, if your bed is large, I wouldn't go 1-1. I'd maybe go 5 alyssum, 5 lobelia, 5 alyssum lobelia. So again, I'm back to my block colouring. You've got a good block of white, a good block of blue, and you're going all around. If your bed is small, I just go 1 alyssum and 1 lobelia and cross it over like that. But as I say, bring in the measurements in here, we can help you, or a lot of people have phones and just bring in the picture. Like even this morning now, the amount of people that were coming in, the shrub beds or whatever, they have the picture, and you know, it's actually very easy.
Absolutely.
Because you can see what shrubs are planted there, and you can add in whatever's needed.
You know what? I can never find the measuring tape. It is one of those things, it goes missing a lot.
Now that you say, if you don't have a measuring tape, just go out and step it.
step it out.
You don't actually have to come in now. It's 24.5 millimeters or whatever.
Be very exact.
Step it out. Like usually a step is about a metre. So just like you're 12 metres out, 12 steps up that way is 12 metres. By 4 steps that way is 4 metres.
Well, as you said, everyone has a phone as well.
Everyone has a phone and everyone has legs.
So
there's no excuse, Alan, there.
No.
But again, now geraniums are lovely as well.
Okay, we've got 2
I've seen beds
here.
of these geraniums, like just beds of geraniums, and then they're just surrounded maybe either by the lobelia or the alyssum.
And again, it complements each other because you've got the height here, and you've got the lovely colour down
And now
there.
that actually is a very good point then, Alan, as well. If you've got a bed and it's up against the wall, you're starting off with your higher and work your way down, and make sure you find out that as well when you come in. Like your lobelia is small. Your petunias will be large. They grow up to 12 inches, whereas lobelia is 4 to 5 inches.
And you know what's very, very popular as well too, I've seen it, is you can actually purposely build up at the back, you know, so if you could actually have a nice little kind of corner of your garden, and instead of just working at a level, just build it up. So put the compost at the back up a little bit higher, and that way you could tier it beautifully down.
Yeah, no,
You're
that would be
going
fabulous.
up halfway up a wall as opposed to just having everything down low.
No, you said it, and it
gives
just adds another dimension to the garden then as well, like, and it's lovely. So they're absolutely fabulous, and of course the other thing then, unfortunately, that we always have to
slugs. They're all over the place at the moment.
Slugs.
They're all over the place at the moment.
They are, because we've had the rain the last couple of weeks. Slugs and snails, they just seem to be absolutely everywhere. So I should go back to now where I started, where you put down your compost, preparing the bedding.
Okay, so we'll take a step back.
Once you've got your bedding plants down, scatter out your slug pellets.
Okay.
Now there's a lot of different types of slug pellets you can get, ones that are pet friendly, child friendly.
Organic and everything.
You know, we have them all here anyway, I won't go through them all, but they're all here, and you must put that down. Now again, be careful when you're putting them out, don't throw them on top of the foliage. Because again, these are blue in colour. They can get stuck and then get slimy, and then it's another kind of thing on your leaf then that might cause a fungus or whatever. So just get down close into it and scatter it in around it.
And what about putting it even on the outside, like even creating a little barrier?
You could.
Would it work like that as well?
Yeah, you can, but the only thing...
They'll find a way again.
They will with soil, like even though you've raked it and you've looked at it and everything, there could be slugs in the inside.
Okay.
So you're better off to do it all, because believe me, you could put down a bed of marigolds, no slug pellets, you'll get up in the morning, there'll be nothing left.
Go away.
They are. Because if you think, it's not just the marigolds, if you've got any bedding plant, it's so soft, even the stems are soft. They're just munch, let me have it.
If you see those trails around your garden, get the slug pellets down.
Yes, definitely, No, that would be the best thing. And as I say, there's loads of different types of compost. We can advise you on that then as well, to dig into it like at the start as well.
So that's brilliant. We have got lots, and as you said, there's lots of bedding plants here. There's loads of options, loads of colour. Make sure the measurements, prep. You've got your slow release fertilizer, you've got your slug pellets, and then when you put it all down, start with your all-purpose Miracle Grow, and then every 2 weeks you got your feed. There's some great, I want to see some lovely beds around the county after this show, I think.
And that's only a small bit of bedding. We've loads of other types down there as well. So it's great.
Brilliant.
Now is the time, out we get.
Now is the time, and hopefully we're going to have a little bit better weather by the time the show goes out at the weekend. So make sure you've got no excuses now. Trish has given all the great advice. So get into your garden centre, get the bedding plant, find that area that you want in the garden, and you could have beautiful blocks of colours. So listen, Trish, thanks very much. A great, interesting show. And next week, as I said, we'll be moving on to more of the hanging baskets.
The hanging baskets and window boxes and pots and what to put into them.
Lots of people looking for that as well too. So do join us next week here on Radio Kerry. And also remember, you can watch us back on the Facebook and YouTube page. From myself, Alan, Trish, and everyone here at Boyles of Killorglin, we'll talk to you next week. Happy gardening.